So as you can see, today we're going to be inking Fred. We're using paint.net, and I'll talk about why I picked that in a minute. So the first thing I did, I think you saw that I had it flipped. And that was just to check for symmetry. Now I've just got the brush tool here. And you could see that what I did was I had drawn this in pencil first, and then I just scanned it in. Could have drawn it on the computer as well, but sometimes it's nice to work analog too. You can see I'm using the brush tool.
Thank you.
Now, why paint.net? A couple other videos I've done, I've used Krita and MyPaint, and those are really good, really powerful programs. But paint.net is a little quicker. Now you see I used the paint bucket tool there. I had to increase the tolerance because the first time I did it, there were some like white lines and it didn't pick everything up. So as we watch here on the video, what you'll see is first I paint using the brush. To access the brush, like I'm using my drawing tablet in my right hand, and I have my left hand at the keyboard. Because the brush is just B, and the eraser is E. Now you see, I'm doing it freehand, but I'm going to show you a really nice tool. See that straight line tool? Right over there. I pull it down, and you'll see there's some little dots in the middle. And I can move those around and get a beautiful, almost perfect curve. Now, there we go. I'll even do that for like under the eye. But what you'll notice is it's kind of a chopped off line. It has a straight edge, which we don't want. So what I have to do is I have to go back and sometimes like I shave it off a little bit. And that's actually really nice because when you do that, see, I'm going to shave it off right there. It actually looks like a brush. So it actually looks like you used a real brush, and you know when you pick up the edge of the brush, you'd get a finer point. If you've done any painting or inking, you know that that's how you do that. And you can adjust. Sometimes you go too much with cutting it off and you have to redo it again. But you can get a line that looks almost exactly like a brush. Now I struggled to get the eyes here. You'll see I did a few tries. And that's okay that I struggled. And you say, well, where do those lines go? I hit Control Z. I kept hitting Control Z. That takes you back. So that's why it's real handy to have your left hand at the keyboard. Because I'll do Control Z. I'll go to B for the brush, E for the eraser. And here's my line here. And I'm going to finish the face, and then we're going to jump ahead a little bit. So you see, I started with the brush, and I said, I'm just going to go with the line. So I draw the line. Now you see the line's highlighted. Control D deselects the item. And really you think, oh, there's only 2 points you can adjust in the end there in the middle. How am I going to get that curve? Watch, I'll go to the edge. It's really amazing how just a little tiny bit of tweaking, you can get the line almost exactly like the original drawing. Even the tongue. There we go. I'll get almost a perfect semicircle. And I filled it in. And again, I had the tolerance. I had it set to about 65. There's no magic number. If you go too far with the tolerance, oops, I made a mistake there. I had to step back a little bit because I wanted to try and get that. See, with just using the line tool, you really are able to get it perfectly. One thing you may have seen, it was pretty quick. I'm trying to use a line width of about 15. And again, that's not a magic number either. For the outside stuff, and for the inside stuff, I used about 8 or 10. See, I want to shave that to make it nice and a little bit more rounded, a little bit more natural looking. Because that can be a problem. If you're just using that line tool and you don't do any adjustment, it's not going to look very organic. And that's kind of what we want, at least if you like old-style cartoons, that old-style hand inking. At least that's what I like to try and accomplish. And so sometimes just a little shaving at the points can really make a big difference and make it, like I said, look a little bit more organic here. And there we go. Put the other side of the tie in. Control D deselects. And then we'll put the tie in here. Start to draw it in. And try and match my pencil lines there. Now, one thing I should say also about my pencil lines, they're on a separate layer. If you look over in the upper right there, there's a layer that says background. That's my pencil drawing. And I actually took that when I scanned it in, and I dropped the opacity down, or dropped the levels down, I should say. Because I don't want it real bright. I want it more of a gray, where I can just see it, and then just use it to as a guide to start to do my inking. I probably could have even dropped this one a little bit more, but I can sort of tell. And you see, I made that one line in the shirt a little thicker, so I decided, let's go a little bit thinner. And a little variation is okay. It does not have to be 100% perfect. A lot of the old cartoon line work, if you really look, it's not always perfect. There I did a fill. And then now you can see I've jumped ahead just because it was just more of the same. Now I used the line tool to kind of draw the big lines for his legs, but I thought, you know what, for the toes, I just have to redo those freehand. Because I think it would have just taken more time, or it might have looked a little too similar otherwise. And then I dropped down to, I was using, I think, a 15 brush there because it's mostly an outline. I dropped down to an 8 for the toenails. Now, one thing that really can help your cartooning, and a lot of beginners don't do this, is to put a shadow. But here's what I did. I put the shadow, you notice I put a new layer in. So this shadow is above where Fred is. I drew it in. Now I'm just using the selection tool to take out the lines I don't want. Then I merged it. Control M, merge it, and fill it in. Now notice what I did. I went to the background layer, and I erased everything. Put it in white, and there's the moment of truth. So that's how to draw Fred.